On March 13th, a statement from Rheinmetall, Germany's largest defense contractor, sparked widespread discussion. The defense giant, which produces tanks and ammunition for NATO, is planning to collaborate with Volkswagen, which is struggling with overcapacity, to convert one of its idle car factories into a tank production facility. This seemingly unconventional partnership not only reflects the rapid expansion of Europe's defense industry, but also highlights the urgent need for European defense autonomy amid the Ukraine war and the survival anxiety of the traditional automotive industry's transformation. On March 12th, Rheinmetall CEO Armin Papperger stated in a conference call that while the company could repurpose more of its own automotive plants, acquiring facilities from car manufacturers under the right conditions was also a possibility. He mentioned that, in theory, Volkswagen's Osnabrück plant in Germany would be well suited for the production of tanks and armored vehicles. According to Papperger, Rheinmetall and Volkswagen have been in continuous negotiations, and if conditions are favorable, progress could be swift. He added, "The defense minister must respond first, and then we can act quickly." A day earlier, Volkswagen Group CEO Oliver Blume told German television that while in-depth negotiations regarding the Osnabrück plant had not yet taken place, there was still plenty of potential for alternative uses. Reports highlight the contrast between Rheinmetall's search for additional production capacity in Germany and the struggles of car manufacturers like Volkswagen, which are downsizing, shutting down factories, and laying off employees. Due to slowing car sales in Europe, Volkswagen announced in December that it would cut its production capacity in Germany by half, leaving 3 factories idle over the next 2 years, including the Osnabrück plant. At the time, Volkswagen stated that it was exploring alternative uses for the facility, which employed around 2,300 people as of last year. Once a symbol of European automobile manufacturing, the Osnabrück plant has faced an uncertain future due to the slow transition to electric vehicles and declining demand in the European car market. In late 2024, Volkswagen announced that the plant would be idle for 2 years. CEO Oliver Blume candidly stated, "We need to rethink the future use of the factory." Meanwhile, Rheinmetall has been reaping enormous profits amid the Ukraine war. In 2024, the company's sales surged to 9.8 billion euros, with operating profits soaring by 61% and order backlogs reaching a record 55 billion euros. On March 12th, Rheinmetall reported that 30% of its revenue last year came from the German armed forces, with operating profit reaching 1.5 billion euros, a 61% increase. On the same day, the company's stock price jumped more than 7%. CEO Armin Papperger declared, "The era of rearming Europe has begun." He also stated that as military clients clarify their needs this year, Rheinmetall will adjust its forecasts accordingly. The company expects its sales to grow by 30% this year and plans to hire approximately 8,000 new employees over the next 2 years, bringing its global workforce to 40,000. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has also introduced a 800 billion euros Rearming Europe initiative, which includes 150 billion euros in loans for EU member states to invest in defense. However, these funds can only be used to purchase European-made military equipment. The problem, however, is that Rheinmetall's current production capacity is insufficient to meet the surge in defense orders. Manufacturing a single Leopard 2 main battle tank requires thousands of labor hours just for welding the chassis. Meanwhile, NATO countries have pledged to supply Ukraine with hundreds of tanks, further straining production lines. Thus, a seemingly absurd yet entirely logical proposal has emerged, converting Volkswagen's idle car factory into a tank production line. Papperger stated, "In theory, the Osnabrück plant is very well suited for producing armored vehicles. It only needs heavy-duty cranes and reinforced flooring. The idea of a car factory building tanks is, in reality, an inevitable outcome of Europe's rapidly expanding defense industry." During World War II, the military potential of automobile factories stunned the world. For example, the Stalingrad tractor factory continued producing over 200 T-34 tanks under German shelling. becoming the steel spark of the Soviet counteroffensive. In the U.S., Chrysler was responsible for half of the nation's tank production, with its M48 tank production line rolling out more than 10 units per day. Meanwhile, Mitsubishi in Japan transitioned from manufacturing automobiles to building aircraft carriers, with the legendary Zero fighter taking off from its workshops. These examples illustrate a consistent pattern. The precision manufacturing capabilities of the automotive industry serve as a foundation for military production. However, converting a car factory into a tank production line is far from a simple rebranding exercise. The differences between civilian automotive manufacturing and military production exist at every level. First, there's the production equipment. Car assembly lines rely on lightweight robotic arms and conveyor belts, whereas tank manufacturing requires heavy-duty cranes with a load capacity exceeding 50 tons and specialized welding equipment. Second, the engineering standards are vastly different. While civilian vehicles allow for millimeter-level tolerances, tank armor welding must withstand direct shell impacts, requiring precision at the micron level. Lastly, supply chains differ significantly. Volkswagen's network is built around electronic components and lightweight alloys, whereas tank production depends on military-grade materials such as special steel, composite armor, and advanced fire control systems. Rheinmetall's proposed solution is modular transformation, which involves retaining the factory's core structure while completely overhauling its internal equipment. CEO Armin Papperger revealed, "We need to remove most of the existing interior, install 20 heavy-duty cranes, and upgrade the electrical systems to support high-energy consumption equipment. If implemented, the reconfigured plant could begin producing the next-generation Lynx wheeled armored vehicle by the end of the year." However, all of this hinges on one crucial factor. The German Ministry of Defense must commit to a minimum 10-year, 1,000 armored vehicle order. Otherwise, the conversion costs would be unsustainable. The potential collaboration between Rheinmetall and Volkswagen is essentially a reflection of how the arms race triggered by the Ukraine war is reshaping Europe's industrial landscape. Since the outbreak of the conflict in 2022, Germany's defense budget has surged from 1.3% to 2% of GDP, with Berlin also pledging a 100 billion euros special defense fund. NATO countries have collectively shifted toward a wartime economy model, leading to a 40% increase in European arms orders in 2023 alone. Against this backdrop, the struggles of traditional automotive giants stand in stark contrast to the expansion of the defense industry. Volkswagen sales in Europe have declined for 2 consecutive years, while Rheinmetall's stock price has soared by 300% since 2022. This extreme divergence in fortunes is forcing Volkswagen to consider a cross-industry survival strategy. Rheinmetall's expansion plans also contain a strategic element, preparing for shifts in U.S. political dynamics. With Trump now back in the White House, NATO members are increasingly concerned about America's security commitments. After all, Trump has openly stated that NATO countries must pay protection fees or risk losing U.S. military support. This uncertainty is pushing Europe to accelerate its defense autonomy. Despite the intriguing prospects of a Rheinmetall-Volkswagen alliance, skepticism remains. Converting a car factory into a military production line would require an investment of several hundred million euros, yet the German Ministry of Defense has yet to finalize its 1,000 armored vehicle order. Meanwhile, Green Party lawmakers have criticized the move as militarizing civilian resources and fear Germany's return to a war economy mindset. Additionally, Volkswagen's engineers lack military production experience, raising concerns about potential technical hurdles in the transition. However, Papperger remains confident. The threats to Europe have never been more imminent. What we need now is speed. Perhaps, in the near future, the production lines of the Osnabrück plant will feature a bizarre yet symbolic sight: tank hulls and car chassis rolling side by side. The potential Rheinmetall-Volkswagen collaboration signifies a fundamental shift in Europe's industrial logic. As the dream of electric vehicles collides with geopolitical tensions, The former kingdom of automobiles is being forced to revive the legacy of the Cold War. From Volkswagen's EV struggles to Rheinmetall's arms industry boom, from Trump's ultimatums to Putin's tanks, Europe stands at a crossroads between peace and war, civilian and military production. And this potential tank factory may become one of the most paradoxical symbols of our time.